Yeah, on Saturday, the 2nd of September, TalkSport brings you exclusive boxing commentary of the much-anticipated rematch between Liam Smith, Chris Eubank Jr. live from the Manchester Arena. It joins an exciting schedule of live boxing on the station, including Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz on August 5th, AJ's heavyweight bout v Dillian Whyte on August 12th, and the rematch between Joe Joyce and Zhilei Zhang on September 23rd. I think I got that right. That's Smith versus Eubank. It's live and exclusive and free to listen to right here on TalkSport. Let's speak to the legend, the boxing expert. Gareth A. Davis joins us. All right, G-Dog.
Good evening, Jamie. Evening, Jermaine. How are you? Fantastic Chinese pronunciation of Zhilei Zhang, I thought, by the way.
I mean, it wasn't my best moment there, mate, but that's... I tried my best. But look, I want to talk to you, Gareth. This big fight, Liam Smith, Chris Eubank Jr. For people that don't know, talk me through the history of the last bout and why this fight means so much.
Well, I mean, Chris Eubank Jr. had never looked in trouble in any fight. A lot of people felt that he had all the assets to deal with Liam Smith, who'd been in with Canelo, been a world champion. Chris Eubank Jr. still rising to become a truly fully fledged world champion. And as the bouts ensued, we got into the fourth round. Eubank was doing his thing, looking really good. And Liam Smith literally put him away with 9 power shots in the corner, hit him with an uppercut. And literally, Eubank crumpled like clothes falling into a suitcase. And it literally was that bad. We'd never seen him in trouble. Everybody celebrated in Smith's corner. Eubank later complained he'd been hit by an elbow. So it was a shock victory for Liam Smith. Not a shock that he won, but a shock in the manner that he won. Obviously, there was debates around whether Eubank had cut weight. He did a ghost weight cut in the wake of the fight on October the 8th being called off with him and Conor Benn, getting down to 157 pounds. I wondered, as did others, we speculated whether that could have had an effect on him. When this fight was announced early in the year, it's been on off the rematch, many people thought that Conor Benn was coming back and Eubank was going to fight Conor Benn again. But I'm really pleased that he's fighting Liam Smith. I'm pleased for Smith, so that he can prove it wasn't a fluke and it wasn't a one-off. And I'm pleased for Eubank for his opportunity to put the record straight. They don't like each other. As you both know, the Eubanks have the propensity to get under the skin of opponents, sell fights, and that's what they've done in this case. It's a terrific fight. I think it's a pay-per-view this time around, and I'm glad they're doing it in Manchester because Smith's got massive support up there. And Eubank will be doing his thing again and trying to get under the skin of Liam Smith.
Gareth, do you think Eubank is right in what he was saying as the referee robbed him of that fight? Do you think it should have got stopped or what?
I think it's pride with him saying that the referee shouldn't have stopped the fight. As he's saying, he didn't want Roy Jones Jr. to throw the towel in. I think he was very, very hurt. He was all over the place. I think, in fact,
not a count that give him the normal count as they do to stop it
maybe,
abruptly, give him the chance to get his legs, to get his breathe, to see if he can carry on.
He was all over the place. He staggered across the ring. You could see from his eyes when he was caught by an uppercut from Smith that he was genuinely hurt. I think it was a left hand and an uppercut. He was genuinely hurt. And if in many ways, Jermaine, I think the referee did him a favour because he's actually, rather than being knocked spark out, he lived to fight another day and have the rematch, frankly. Rather as we saw with Lee Wood and Mauricio Lara recently. Ben Davison pulled him out in the 7th round when he got hurt. In the rematch, he completely outboxed Lara. I do think it's a fascinating fight. I've never seen Eubank in his whole career that hurt. It was a surprise. But then again, you shouldn't really take anything away from Liam Smith.
Look, going into this fight then, anything going to be different? How do they approach this fight? Who's going to be the one that changes their tactic?
Well, it's got to be Eubank, who had his hands low, strutting like a peacock as he does. He was flicking out his jab a la Roy Jones. There's been a lot of criticism of the fact that he tried to copy Roy Jones Jr.'s style in the last 2 or 3 fights he's worked with him. For me, he's just got to keep his hands up and work the fight, work his way into the fight this time, not get caught by Smith. I think Smith's the favourite now, rightly the favourite. But I do think it also points to the fact, gents, underlining the fact they've re-signed to fight, is that we were hearing this week that Conor Benn was going to get resolution on his case with UKAD, with the tribunal over the two tests for clomiphene. Yeah. And it could be that isn't coming to a head, because many felt that Eubank was going the way of a Conor Benn fight, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Right. It's still a great fight. I think Liam Smith's the favourite now. Eubank is the one that's got to try and set the record straight.
Yeah. So do you think that Eubank went into this fight underestimating Liam Smith? And on top of that, what do you think?
Jermaine.
What do you think's in store for the winner?
I think the winner gets to world title glory. I mean, you look at Jamal Charlo at the moment. The light middleweight king is getting on to face Canelo Alvarez at super middleweight. There's world titles out there for the winner. I think Liam Smith, if he wins this, may end up fighting for a world title. But I do think that Chris Eubank Jr., if Ben gets off, will still fight Conor Benn, because I think that's a big fight that they'll still push.
Gareth, I've got to ask you about the other fights obviously coming up. AJ, he's fighting Dillian Whyte. Do you see anything different in this one?
Oh, I do. I think they're older, wiser. They're not the kind of young gunslingers looking for a bloodfest, which they had 7.5 years ago. And I
remember that fight. It was a great fight.
Oh, it was a brilliant fight. I mean, there was so much on the line, and AJ was rocked for the first time. Yeah. They're very different fighters now. They both lost 3 times. I think it's AJ's fight to lose, and there's so much jeopardy on AJ, given that we're talking about this teased £60 million $60 million that he could earn to fight Deontay Wilder in Saudi Arabia, if that arises or emerges.
Yeah.
So really looking forward to that as well, and looking forward to obviously all these fights and the Zhilei Zhang, Joe Joyce fight, all being on Talk Sport.
Yeah, big fights. Gareth, pleasure, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Gareth.
Always a pleasure. Cheers, gents.
All right, Gareth A. Davies there, Talk Sports boxing expert. Big fights, got you covered all over the network. It's absolutely fantastic here on Talk Sport, and the commentary with Gareth A. Davies, Spencer Oliver, the rest of them, they are absolutely brilliant. Adam Cattrall, the team in boxing on this station is absolutely fantastic.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the TalkSport app and on your smart speaker. Talk Sport.